we took a report of a confrontation between two vehicles, one a sedan and one a motorcycle, in which a weapon was brandished. I cannot say much about this incident except we are currently investigating. Anticipating the question, it is my understanding today, having received a call a few minutes ago from the County Attorney's Office, that Mr. Oscar de la Torre Munoz has been released. We understand he will be released within the hour from jail. The court made that ruling regarding his other charges, as you recall, that he was booked into jail on a week ago today, not involving our case. As to his status regarding our case, suffice to say we know where to locate him, and that's our position on Mr. Munoz. We continue to respond and investigate broken vehicle window calls that I think we had at least two early this morning, one from yesterday. As I've said before, we investigate each and every one of these, and to my knowledge, none of the reports that we took from these broken window cases resulted in addition to our 11 cases. We're still at 11 cases, and from what I gathered, all of these broken window, vehicle window cases were the result of road debris. So we still are at 11 confirmed cases in the I-10 shooting investigation, the last one occurring a week ago yesterday, and we continue to investigate this case diligently and around the clock through the Emergency Operations Center. I just want to go into a little bit more detail about the assets involved in investigating this case. Our aviation unit is involved in this. Our partners at Phoenix Police, as you've seen this week, their investigators are assisting us. Officers, investigators, our troopers, our undercover folks and the Get 'em detectives, our detectives from the State Gang Task Force, they've been involved since day one. We continue to be on the highways, protecting the public with the marked and unmarked vehicles, and that will continue for the foreseeable future. Any questions?
The incident on I-17 you're investigating, is that related to, are you investigating it in relation to the I-10 shooting?
I think we are investigating that. I wasn't told of a link by the time I walked out here yet, but we are investigating. I'm not certain that it's related to that.
So Oscar Munoz is still a person of interest in this case?
I think for our purposes, yes. I've not been told otherwise.
Can you clarify a little bit on what the state had said, or the prosecutors or the court on this? It says that the police report was not submitted, and you had said it was, that was for the other charges, not necessarily for your case. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? Can you clarify it a little bit?
I can't go into a lot of detail other than we spent a lot of time talking to Mr. Munoz. As I said yesterday, the day before yesterday when I had this briefing, he came to our radar, if you will, by a number by some information turned over to us regarding Mr. Munoz. The fact that he has been released from jail on these other non-related charges, I think it's fair to say that we still have an interest in him, but we're not at the point where we can say he's definitely a suspect, and he never was the prime suspect in this case.
Are you testing any sort of evidence or looking at anything you found via search warrants or after his arrest related to Mr. Munoz?
I can't really get into that. I'm sorry.
Will the public be concerned about his release?
The public continues to be concerned about this whole situation. Our investigation continues. The overhead signs that ADOT has generously continued to keep lit over the last however long it's been, week or so, almost 2 weeks, indicates this investigation is ongoing, and Mr. Munoz, like I indicated the other day, is a piece of the pie. It's a puzzle piece, and we continue to investigate. So in terms of his status with us, we know his whereabouts, and we will keep track of him.
So if Mr. Munoz is a piece of the pie, then why didn't DPS give the proper paperwork to argue that he actually did violate his probation?
I think I've already answered that question. He has, we've spent a lot of time talking to him, and the fact of the matter is that we still want to keep him on our radar scope, but we have not, obviously not charged him with this crime.
Why is it that DPS will not confirm the 5 incidents involving the gun, bullets, or connected forensically?
Because, as I indicated before, when you get into ballistics, the detectives are spending a lot of time trying to add up various factors in the evidence collected in this case, and to telegraph that to the media would harm the investigation, would harm our ability to make an effective arrest, and to make the case, more importantly, stick to whoever we do arrest in this case, and we will arrest somebody in this case. So rather than go step by step with that evidence we have, although we appreciate the effort the media has been partnering with us in terms of getting the word out, we cannot give you that at this point. It's frustrating for the public, but believe me, it will, if you let us investigate this case and put all these pieces of this puzzles together, we will come up with an arrest, and we will come up with a rock-solid case that hopefully will reassure the public.
Can you speak at all to your budget? When you talked about your aviation unit, overtime, I would imagine, for some of these troopers and officers out there, what does this do for your budget?
The governor has been very generous in giving us whatever resources we need to conduct this investigation. This is as you know, our #1 priority as an agency, and we continue to be appreciative from the good offers from his office. It's best to answer that question when we have made an arrest and this case has concluded, then I can give you all the numbers.
When we talk about the budget of the man hours, the amount of assets you're putting into this, aviation unit, Phoenix PD, your officers, troopers, undercover, gang task force, can you give us kind of a rough number of the amount of men that are on this?
You know, I've been asked that periodically, and I can only say that dozens and dozens of people in our agency are working around the clock, and they continue to do so. I don't have an exact number. Remember, we are working with other agencies as well.
Along the same lines of resources, you talked about aviation. Are you willing to go into the technology being used yet?
No, I am not. All part of the investigation. I can't get, for those watching to hear the question, I can't get into the technology that we're using, if we're using. It's fair to say we're using anything and everything available to us to wrap up this investigation and make a credible arrest in this case, hopefully soon.
Are you any closer than you were a week ago to making an arrest in this case?
I think it's fair to say since a week ago today, we've made headway in this case.
So since things change all the time, right? And given what's happened with this person of interest this morning being released, what kind of update can you maybe give us on whether or not there is one or multiple people you maybe believe involved in this, or whether there may be a connection of individuals working individually on this? Can you touch on maybe that? One person you believe both?
Ultimately, there are, as the director indicated, there are 3 scenarios involving this case. They're the original incident of the weekend of the last weekend in August, beginning August 29th that you're aware about, those 4 gunshots fired over that weekend from Saturday to Monday. That's one scenario. The following weekend, the Labor Day weekend, we had the road rage incident, which we put out a press release, and we still want to locate that person. And then there's the projectile shootings that occurred from that week on. So there's 3 different scenarios. We believe that if and when we make an arrest, hopefully the rest of that will fall into place. But there's 3 scenarios we're investigating, and that's why we're investigating as diligently and as intensively as we are.
One of the questions we're getting a lot from viewers has to do with these projectiles, and they're wondering if any of them have been recovered and if any further information can be provided about what they are.
I can't really answer that, David. I think in terms of the projectiles, you know, all of our teams of detectives are working on various aspects of these scenarios, as I just indicated, and I can't really speak to what they've recovered and what they've analyzed. Anybody else? Thank you all for coming. Like I say, if something bigger develops, we'll schedule a news briefing, but that's about it for this week.